was a novelty at first. Everyone was excited, like, okay, cool, I have all this time to myself, like this free time, and I'm just gonna bake all the time and like meditate. And then you spend 10 minutes with your emotions actually processing the shit that you have to process, and you're like, wait, I want my real life back.
So I already have a dry mouth. So
It's water?
no, it's okay. COVID, bro. Come on.
I get tested fortnightly.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know that? That's a cool piece
Do
of story.
you?
Yeah, I don't recommend them.
I should maybe get tested.
Why?
No, for any. I don't know why actually I said that. I just have only had one test, and I feel like everyone's.
I have no test.
Oh, the
Getting-
good thing about that test is it's one you want to fail.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's a test, so I feel like I'd want to pass it. I'd want it to be positive anyway.
Just get.
I'm that
So you don't-
competitive.
You're negative.
It's like, do it
Do
again.
it!
Do it again.
Run it again. I'm positive, I swear.
That's good. Let's end on that one. We're going to make you famous, all right? That's just a
Yeah.
fact.
Fresh and Zesty, where we give you the tips and tricks to get famous.
Facts. That's good.
Yeah, that was a bit better. So today we have
Kota looks so confused right now.
I'm loving it.
like,
I'm
what's
just,
going
I'm
on?
just listening, learning
learning.
This is how not to do an intro.
how not to do a podcast. Yeah. No, just kidding.
Lesson number 1.
That was good.
Today we have the lovely Kota Banks on. Yep. Cheers.
Hey.
Cheers. How you doing, man?
I'm so good.
So good.
How are you guys?
Pretty fabulous.
We're going good. You got a message from your mum, Jamie.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. She said she loved me.
Hey, Mum.
Hey, man. Yeah, so how's things?
Good.
Yeah.
How is
Yeah.
your COVID life going?
It's okay. I feel like we're all in the same boat. It sucks for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's definitely a really fucking weird time, especially for
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, at the beginning I was super creative, and because all of my work was cancelled and all of my travel was cancelled, all I had to do was create. And then towards the end and in this kind of period, there's still kind of nothing going on and not that much work and not many gigs, but I feel like I've exhausted my creativity. I felt like I almost went too hard, too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just burnt out a little bit.
yeah, I feel a bit tired.
Because you've been busting out a shitload of content. Like,
Yeah.
what, like a video a week or almost every 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I released an EP called The Sweet and the Spice. The Spice. And I wanted to save some of the content for after the rollout, because I think in today's day and age when people have a very short attention span, it's always nice to have something new within the same package to give them to
Yeah.
keep the focus on that artwork or like that project.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, the visuals are quite delayed. I mean, I released the project a while ago, but yeah, the visuals have been really fun to do after, just to keep people guessing. And often I have so many ideas before the music comes out, but then when the music is released and I see the way that people are interpreting it, it affects how I think it should come across visually, if that makes
gotcha.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I almost have all these new ideas that come after the fact.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to wait and just take my time.
Because you like the visuals you rolled out in a different order to like the way you wrote out the tracks too.
Yeah.
Because like Never Sleep was that the first visual that you dropped? Or was that the second one?
It was the second.
Second,
I dropped
yeah.
the Yes acoustic visual first. So I kind of went opposite ways. So it's
Yeah.
like the last thing I dropped was the first thing that I released visually.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm going backwards.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
mad. Yeah. And I guess that as well keeps everyone guessing. Like
Yeah, the order, no one knows what's coming next.
Yeah.
no, that's cool.
And you finding people like hooked into seeing what comes next?
It's actually been really good engagement wise. Especially I did a cover of a song called WAP, and that was like a little visual to just punctuate the releases of the other visuals, and it just
Do you mean WAP, not WAP?
I say WAP.
Is it?
Am I pronouncing it wrong?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just thinking about phonetics. It'd be a
Well,
WAP.
yeah, but
We need to explore this. Do you like that song?
WA.
I hate it. That's why I covered it.
Oh, thank God. He said before.
No, I love it. I'm joking.
Really?
You didn't pick up on the sarcasm?
No.
There was so much.
There was so much relief. Okay, hold on.
Oh, so you don't like it?
I can't say I'm a fan, and this is probably going to go into the whole like, we know only men hate this song.
Yep, I was about to go off on a tangent.
Okay. Why do you like it?
Why do you not like it? I feel like you're the man, so you have to explain yourself first.
Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe because I've never gotten the word I was supposed to. But I don't know.
Have you never experienced the beautiful, moist, of a woman? Men can appreciate it
Hey,
too.
babe,
No?
how you doing?
I would love to flood you right now.
No pun intended.
This is getting so dirty so early. I'm so
We're just
scared.
going down the slippery slide. Okay,
Nice.
Thanks.
Pun
Great.
intended.
I don't know. Like, how do I didn't find a lot of artistic integrity, and I'm gonna like, you know. I know that rap has usually been like the opposite and degrading towards women, and I'm not for that either. So it's kind of like I'm in that weird situation where I'm like, if a guy was saying the reverse, I also wouldn't like that as a song. So when it's pushed,
so you just don't like the
like if
super
someone-
sexual undertones.
it depends. Like if a guy brought out lap, long ass penis, I wouldn't be a fan. Of
Did
that
you just
song.
think off of that off the top of your
We
head?
prepared that earlier.
It was amazing. I'm in awe.
Of my lap?
Woo!
So quick.
I don't know. Like I think that's where I'm sitting is if the reverse, like it's not like I'm sort of like against women being sexually out there. Like I mean, I married a tantra teacher. Like
Nice.
so, you know I think in something that's going to be a message like that that's so widespread that man, I sound like a parent now. Kids are going to listen to. You know, like would I want my daughter hearing it? Do I think if she was in her 20s, cool, whatever. But if it's something that like pushed publicly in the charts, which is predominantly listened by younger kids, that then goes on TikTok and then they dance the thing to a WAP, like. You know?
I mean, I guess the intention behind it for me is women taking back their sexuality, because I feel like for centuries our sexuality has almost been either I want to say defined, but we've almost been owned by men. Like women often want their body shape to look like how men would find it attractive, or we wear makeup when we go on a date to impress a man, or like we get our nails done, or this or that. So for me, it's more the sentiment of us for example, the word wog, wogs, I'm a wog, I can say the word wog, but, for someone else to say it, it might not be as acceptable. So it's kind of claiming ownership of that word and taking back the power in it. For me, it's like it's a feminist statement. So for me, it's less about the sexual undertones and more about, us taking back our sexuality and women singing about it as opposed to men, because I feel like men sing about wet ass pussies a lot. But for women to come out, two strong black females out the gate with I think it's like the first number one on the Billboard in history with two black female rappers, which is iconic and amazing. Cool. So it's a moment, and I feel like, I hear what you're saying, but it's hard for me to listen to men's opinion on it, because I feel like it's almost I guess everyone has to listen to it and it's a song that everyone can have an opinion on, but there's such a strong message for me in terms of feminism that I feel that's why I covered it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like definitely women jumping into their sexuality and expressing it for sure. I think maybe that's where I'm personally, I find it hard just because it's like some of the tones in it were more, it's still, I saw it as a way that, God, I'm going to sound like a simp saying this.
I hate the word simp. We can talk about that later.
But
that's next.
That's the next topic. But it's still played into men degrading her, but she's like owning the degradation in the in the lyrics.
Show me. Let's break it down.
All right. Okay. We'll explore that in a second. I need someone else to like search stuff. They just I can't think off the top of my head. You search the lyrics.
I will.
But I don't know. Just from top of my head, there was a few lyrics where I was just like, because I wouldn't do that to a woman. And like, good, that's my preference. Everyone's different. That's what makes us beautiful. But there were some things where I was just like,
I'd be so interested to hear where you think they're
I could have just been like saying
degrading.
it, but beat it up for starters. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think she's saying be violent. though. It's like a play on, not a play on
It's
words.
passionate.
Yeah, it's passionate. Like it's hyperbole.
Yeah. Hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Is it hyperbole? Can we settle this?
I like saying hyperbole just to piss people off.
Yeah.
It's definitely hyperbole.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like looking through the lyrics here, I get, like I said, if it was the flip and it's not like, if gender was reversed, I definitely, that stuff's not new about a guy rapping about it.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is like it's new for women, and I love that. I don't think I've heard a song like this before, but I guess it's just taste as well. Like maybe you just don't.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really listen. I don't enjoy, and this is where it's like I get it when people are like, oh, men just can't deal with it. But for me personally, even when a dude's like, yeah, that bitch gobbled the dick up, I'm like, didn't really want to hear that. You know, so it's not like it's just where I stand. It's not like me going, I'm uncomfortable with the reverse. It's like, nah, both ways. I'm just like, yeah, come on, like. But where your point of view is, I totally get that. Like, so that makes more sense then.
Totally.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Honestly, I think it's incredible.
I'm gonna expose you.
That there was so many ways to say that one thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
you said
that
this
was
to me.
big.
and
Yes.
rhyme them all. Like
The
that's
bars,
fucking
right?
mad.
Yeah.
I was like, this is hectic.
That's why when you
I
said
didn't know there was so
about
many metaphors for a vagina parking
Bro,
or a penis
honestly,
parking in a
like-
garage. Like,
Mack trucks and
Oh my
little
God.
garages, it's wild.
I just
It
didn't know
is-
there was that many things.
Because that's why when Blake said he didn't like the art, he didn't think it was artistic. You said something like that. I was like, I beg to differ. I think those bars are so wild,
Yeah.
and it's so hard to say that in such a creative, fun
Like, I'm sorry.
way.
Like, how long does a song go for? How like
right? Sheesh, and they do verses on verses.
Yeah.
Like there's
It's
verses.
constant.
No, I know.
It's constant.
It's so good.
Like I didn't even. You were like, oh, you should. When
I put you on.
You messaged me. You were like, have you seen this yet? And I was like, no. You're like, you have to. You
was
have
like,
to watch
watch
it. I was
it
like, okay,
now.
cool. I watched it. I wasn't even paying attention to the video because I was like, every now and then I'd hear a word and I'd be like, no, they did. Like,
Yeah.
no way. I was like, so then I had to go back and listen to it again just to be like,
They really said that, huh?
oh my, that's insane.
Well, the thing that made me, because you and I were like texting between one another, and I was just like, oh my God. It was more like, it's like any song though. Like if you get the actual, like the lyrics written down, it was the start that killed me. Where is it?
Beat it up, baby, catch
no.
a charge. No.
Yeah. You fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring in a bucket, and then it's like, yeah. Of course, anything like that though, I'm just gonna be like, oh.
We did this. We did this with.
You should do a remix. That sounded great.
Yeah.
I would listen to it.
We
My tone deafness. Stacey will do a duet.
It was you, Saint Lane, Maxine, and I.
Uh-huh.
We were having drinks one night, and Saint Lane started reading out all these different songs,
Yeah.
but like as if you were reading it as a poem. So he was
No,
like,
not even a poem.
no,
like,
but it was like just like a reading.
yeah, like super dry and sarcastic,
Yeah.
like taking the piss out of the lyrics. And it was really funny how many songs were exposed to be trash when you read them like that. It really
100%.
separates
It's so funny.
the quality of the songs. Fuck, it had me laughing for like 2
like
hours.
yeah. Let's talk about your song, Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hit us.
What about it?
Just so I mean, it's the most recent song you put out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes to yes.
Yes to yes.
Yeah, and it's funny because I wrote it a long time ago. I wrote it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stood the test of time. I just never stopped listening to it for 2 years. I've been obsessed with it. I wrote it with Xavier Dunn, very talented musician, great guy. And yeah, it had so many lives. It was almost going to go with this big artist, and then it didn't, and then I took it back, and then it underwent constructions, and I wanted to pitch it for a while because I didn't think that I could pull it off as an artist, considering my style is a little bit more avant-garde and futuristic.
Yeah.
And then I just finally thought, I love this song so much, I'm just going to put it out.
Yeah, for sure. How did you?
So 2 years.
Yeah, a long time.
How many remakes and like redos was it, or is it just like something you loved the whole time but just never got around to putting it out to the world?
It wasn't that. It was just, like I said, the fact that I didn't know if I could pull it off. I just was really concerned with being a sonically cohesive artist for a long time, and I wasn't sure whether Yes would compromise the quote unquote brand that I'd built, or like
Gotcha.
the image that I had as this artist who was always putting out really forward thinking music, and the sonic backdrop always had to be revolutionary. And like, I think Yes is revolutionary in its own way, because that's one of the criteria I have before I put out a song. I have to believe that it's like insane and be obsessed with it. But Yes is much more like palatable and accessible
Yeah.
than my other stuff, maybe, I guess. So that was why. And then I just got to a point where I just decided, I don't care. I just want to put out the music that I love and not overthink it too much. And that's why Sweet and the Spice is called Sweet and the Spice, because it's a mixture of all these different flavors of music, and there's so much going on. And so
Yeah, was that like with the songs you chose for Sweet and the Spice, was that a cohesive thought where you were like, the idea for this was to have so many different styles, and like there still was like some similarities between them, but like
I hope so. I don't know. I feel like, do you think so? Because some people have just been like, this is not a mess, but they've just said it was like super chaotic, and like some of my homies, and they were like, I don't know if this works together as a project. And I just was like, I don't care.
It's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
like-
I'm glad you say that, because I did want there to be a common thread. You know, I think like as much as I'm kind of anti cohesion. Like I hate the idea that an artist has to, or like that everyone puts pressure on an artist to create this body of work that's super like seamless and fluid. And the reality is like
sometimes it doesn't have to be like that.
yeah, like I listen to so much music, and especially in lockdown, which was a time when I was stressed and my emotions were all over the place and I was erratic and unpredictable, and like I'm a bit of a chameleon anyway, in the sense that I don't know who I'm going to be any particular day. I just decide my personality for that day, and like that's me.
Yeah, cool.
So it was a really good opportunity, given COVID as well, given the nature of like, I think everyone just not knowing what's going on, made sense to. Sorry, I went on a huge tangent. You asked me about Yes, and I'm like
Keep
telling you
going.
all
No,
about
keep
it.
going.
Nice. No, this is dope.
Okay,
We
yeah.
eating this
Anyway, yeah, that's the in a nutshell.
Oh yeah.
It was a big nut
that was
shell.
A big nutshell.
So speaking of like COVID and stuff, obviously, I was talking to you that when you were saying that you did so much so quickly.
Yes.
And like, I mean, we've been friends for ages, but like I sent you like a whole bunch of tracks and whatever, and then one of them ended up being Never Sleep after a whole bunch of changes again.
Mm-hmm.
But how now, Brown Cow?
How now?
That's exactly what I was. You took a joke.
Bars.
How are you now? Because obviously, you can't go touring, can't do all these things that you normally do, and you normally gain new experiences from, and that leads you to be able to write about new things. Or how are you sorting that out now? Like how do you get new experiences? Like what do you do to keep yourself
Keep it
inspired?
pushing?
Yeah.
I don't, my man.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
At the moment, what can you do, really? I'm out of idea. I'm open to suggestions if you have any ideas of how I could spice up my life. Like, I mean, even when COVID wasn't happening, I'm the type of person to put myself in situations for my art just so that I can write about it.
Yeah,
like I'll
right.
purposefully date an idiot that I know is going to be trash
That is
and
actually
like
good.
pull some shit
No.
so that I can write about it.
100%. I used to go on
Yeah.
dates as well. From like, and the whole time this train wreck's happening, I'm there going, "This is gonna be
Music,
such a good story."
music. Yeah.
Even just for telling people, I'm like, "Oh, this, I'm gonna have something to talk about tomorrow."
Yeah, 100. It'd be like that. But now I can't do any of that because of, I mean, yeah. So, any suggestions?
We were talking about this with someone the other day. Just go in a white, like a white room, and the thing what will happen is because you have no sense of no stimulation, your brain will just conjure shit up because it will get so like bored.
Whoa.
So it'd be a bit of a trip as well. But yeah, by putting yourself in a completely white room, nothing else in it, and just sit there, after a couple of hours, you'll start going, "Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck," and then just something will come, and you're like,
I feel like I'll just go crazy,
well, yeah.
Yeah, same.
but like not in like a good way.
Yeah, in a very
We could
bad
try
way.
it.
Like things like Yeah.
I feel like it's a good YouTube video. Chunky in a white room.
Just
to be
film
honest-
him, put him in there for a week.
Man, to be honest, I'll
Lock him in.
probably just start playing Mario Kart in my head.
Oh,
Yeah,
same.
legit.
That's what would
It's-
happen for me.
It's amazing.
Okay, I gotta play a game after this. That sounds
Yeah, we'll
Greatest
do
game.
it.
Greatest
yeah.
game.
But you could try that. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, where can I find a white room?
Oh, we can organize something.
Can you hook it up for me?
I got the hookups.
Let's do it
Sweet.
tomorrow.
It's alarming.
Jeez, last minute. We'll see. Maybe
Okay,
Tuesday.
okay, sounds good.
So, in saying that, so obviously, like you're not doing anything to, like have some new experiences to write about, whatever, like that. At the moment, what's your process?
My like creative process.
Yeah.
I think for a while, like when cool stuff stopped happening to me, I was like, I started freaking out and not realizing that that was the reason why my music wasn't cool at the moment. Like I just went through this thing of like, I have writer's block. I've never had writer's block in my life. I don't know why I can't come up with anything cool. And so I was blaming myself and putting so much pressure on myself. And I think my creative process at the moment is literally just taking a break and like reading a lot and watching TV and old movies and because nothing's happening to me directly, so it's a really cool thing to be able to live vicariously through what's happening to people
Yeah.
and like to characters essentially.
Yeah, like be
And-
affected 80% of the time to create the other 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Interesting, like about learning stuff. Like the more you learn, which way you like what you're doing, just taking things in. And are you finding that's creating like, all right, cool, just fill the bank up and then just.
Yeah, it's like your creative DNA just mutates almost. It's like, if you're a sponge and you're constantly absorbing new information and new emotions, and if you're watching a whole different range of people and personalities react to certain situations, you're going to be influenced by that naturally if that's what you're like absorbing yourself, if that's what, you're diving into. So, and I found since doing that I'm back on track creatively and I'm much more inspired but I'm also not putting pressure on myself because I think
That's a big
that's
thing
unhelpful. Yeah, and because music and creating is the biggest part of my life and it's where I'm most comfortable and it's what I do the majority of my time. When I was having this dry spell and wasn't sure what was happening, I just felt completely lost. I think I called you and I was just like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And so, I took the pressure off
Yeah.
and it helped.
That's good.
And I feel like just a big weight being lifted.
Yeah, just not. And if I don't feel like creating one day, that's fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
usually write a song a day, but it hasn't been like that recently. I'm just fine with it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
fine with it.
Well, given the extreme circumstances, it's not surprising. It seems to be quite a common thing. Like people, like when it first happened, like you said, bang, everyone was like, all right, cool, I'm going to make this the best time. Then the 3 months turned into like now 6 and then 6 will turn into God knows how long.
Yeah, it was a novelty at first. Everyone was
Yeah.
excited, like, okay, cool, I have all this time to myself, like this free time, and I'm just gonna bake all the time and like meditate. And then you spend 10 minutes with your emotions actually processing the shit that you have to process, and you're like, wait, I want my real life back.
Yeah, she got real. She got
Yeah.
real fast.
Pretty hectic.
And
Yeah.
Victoria fucked it up for all of us.
Yep,
Bit crazy.
the bastards.
I'm just glad that our
Those
state's
two
so
chicks
big.
on that freaking shopping spree.
What? I heard a different story. I heard about a 19-year-old guy that was in the security team. And he got-
Oh,
yeah. You
What?
tell your story, I'll tell mine.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah.
¿por qué no los dos? You first.
Okay.
I'm curious.
All right. Don't fact check me on this, but please do and go write in the comments. I heard, allegedly, where it really started becoming a problem was there was a 19-year-old security guard that was in one of the companies that was hired for the quarantine, like people
Yeah,
that flying
okay,
in.
I did
And
hear
he was
this.
then
sleeping with
a bunch of them,
right,
and he
yeah.
was like just flooding, like bringing. Pretty much, he was just like a mule without realizing for COVID. Just
shit.
he slept with like a chunk of. Oh, that's a bad word. A bunch of women.
Didn't sleep with me.
What's up with Chunk?
Yeah,
How was that?
He,
Good.
Hey man,
gentle touch.
look, I'm COVID free, so
The so that was the story I heard, and like I think he's Muslim, so Muslims have big congregations, lots of people, and then so what he was done, fortunately, doing by sleeping with them was then putting it and going into large groups of people, and that's what made it.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Right.
And but I still feel bad for him because at the same time, it's like it's a 19-year-old horny.
He just wants to get his rocks off.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, I'm not excusing what he did, but I also think that shit, I remember when I was 19.
Yeah, but also like COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like also there's a global pandemic
Also
and you
that.
shouldn't be
Also
sleeping
that.
with. So keep it in your pants, you know?
I mean, it was your job. Like,
Yeah.
But look, I'm gonna get shit. Security guards. I used to work at bars. They did like to hit on girls a lot.
doesn't mean you have to sleep with them.
It does not.
I'm not excusing what he did. I'm just saying I can get.
Yeah,
the
you can like
hormone rush.
understand what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how it happened.
Yeah. And like, this guy's bored, and then he's put in like a vicinity of other bored women who are just like, this quarantine sucks. How can I don't have COVID, I don't have the symptoms, and then
The story I heard was these two women flew down from Queensland on a shopping spree because they wanted to shop in Melbourne, and they had COVID, and they just went nuts around the city and went into so many shops and just spread it, and
Really?
then left the next day.
But wouldn't they have taken it back to Queensland then?
Yeah, or maybe they didn't leave for Queensland. I just heard they were like jet setting around, or maybe they didn't leave, but I heard that there were these two women who were from Queensland, went to Melbourne, and then just went nuts. So
There's so many stories, like it's becoming like the new folklore.
yeah,
I
like
heard
the rumors,
this. Yes,
Chinese
did you
whispers.
hear? I like how all the people that are like now they're trying to overcome the borders.
Yeah.
And so there was this group of teenage kids. By group I mean pair. And they were like lying to the cops, and they're like, we're allowed to get into Queensland, blah blah blah. And the cop was like, no, you're not. And they're like, they're just being dicks, really. And they were filming the whole thing, and then they like, haha, we got in. Cop obviously takes a photo of their license plate, and then they just get slammed with like a fine and like have to go into quarantine. Like everything just came back and kicked them in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, there's just so much shit happening, big and small. Karens everywhere that are just
Everywhere you look, there's a
not helping
Karen.
the cause.
They're not.
No, and those ladies in the in Melbourne that were like, did you see how they were filming the cops? And the cops were like, you have to put a mask on, and she's like going off at these poor cops and telling them how it's against the law. What law is this? And they're like, it's the Commonwealth law, and they're like, no, it's not. And then she's telling these cops basically, if they go, well, fine, can we get your identification? She goes, I don't have my ID on me. And they're like, well, can we get your name? No, you may not. And they're like, well, we need to identify who you are. She's like, why? And then she's asking these guys. They go, well, fine, we have to arrest you and take you to the police station to get your identification. And this whole time, her and her husband are filming it, being Karens and Keiths. And and it goes on for ages, and I'll just paraphrase, but she ends up threatening the cops to sue them because they're doing an armed kidnapping because they have guns, and she fears for her life. And she's like, now, would you like to still continue with what you're doing? And the cop's like, yes. Like, just people that don't, like, I hate it because I've given Stacey,
It's
who's
a
American,
jungle out there.
Well, I've given Stacey so much shit about it, crazy Americans. Australia in this COVID situation has just shat all over all my arguments.
Yeah, you find out how cooked human nature is
Yeah,
legit.
when shit goes down.
Yeah.
Like
And
when there's a pandemic or like with the bushfires or like you find out who's a G and who's an idiot.
Well, just people that claim like they know the law, and it's like, are you trying to outlaw the cops?
Bro, even the toilet paper people.
Oh, that was great though. That was fantastic.
It was kind of iconic. It was kind of
Shout out
amazing.
Timmy Temple.
Shout out Timmy Temple. Did you hear about that? He sold a toilet roll for $100.
$100.
Oh, but I hate that too.
He
No,
had
like,
artwork on
it
it
was-
though.
it was a-
He had artwork.
Oh,
on it.
okay,
So it was an
okay.
art piece.
Okay,
It was a
right.
snack paper roll.
But yeah.
Oh, Matt.
Nah.
How did I not know that? I'm such a fan of Timmy Temple.
Yeah,
Hi,
shout
Timmy. Love you.
Yeah, so what we were saying, processes.
the things
Processes and things.
Processes, toilet paper, Karen.
We've covered it all.
So your visuals, I know, are fairly important to you in terms of your music and like how you visually represent the music that you create.
Increasingly so.
Yes. Is
I have noticed you got more cartoon sort of like drawings now for the last few songs, and that's been really cool and consistent.
Yeah.
Well, how did that come about? that draw, like, because the drawing was the
artwork.
artwork. Yeah, yeah.
There's this really cool Swedish not a cartoonist. She's like an illustrator. Her name's Joanna Burai, and I found her on Instagram. Or my manager sent me her Instagram profile, and she's incredible. And she'd done so much amazing stuff, and I thought it seemed super DIY in a really nice way, and I had the concept of me being up in the clouds, and I knew that, Sweet and the Spice, like I wanted the halo with the scissors because I thought it was a really nice juxtaposition. Nice. And so, yeah, we just went back and forth, and then I wanted an artwork for each of the songs because I wanted the visuals to be cohesive because sonically it wasn't as cohesive, so I wanted something to kind of make sense together, sorry. And so, yeah, that's...
Yeah, cool.
That's how
Did you have the name of the EP sorted before you finished it?
I actually didn't. I knew I wanted something with two opposing, like, ideas or concepts, like Sweet and Spice or this or that. But it wasn't until Never Sleep, and then I had that Sweet and the Spice
right. Okay.
lyric,
Yeah.
and then that's and I told you multiple times, and you didn't believe me.
Yeah, no, I really
Which
did
made me
not.
think it was a shit name because you're like, no, you're not going to call it Sweet and the Spice.
No.
And I was like, what's wrong with that name? I think is fire. And
You
you're
gotta
like,
remember,
no, you won't do
he
it.
never really does any, he's very introverted.
We spoke about this the other day.
Yeah.
We had a match out about
About
me
what?
just not showing emotion during sessions.
Oh yeah, you're just super
And I'll just
chill.
be like, yeah, that's cool. That's that's
I've
cool.
only seen
Yeah.
him get semi-angry once ever, and that was weird. I was like, shit, is he going to murder someone? Because I'd never seen that before on you.
I'm yet to see that.
Oh, it was like I'm talking mild frustration.
Like he didn't smile one time.
like at one time, like a hand gesture happened. I was like, whoa, shit, don't hit me.
he frowned for 2 seconds, and you're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, it's like, oh crap.
You obviously never saw me at Palmer & Co. I was
Oh,
miserable
yeah, but
when I
that
worked
place
there.
always makes you
Oh,
angry.
dude.
Oh,
At the end there. I didn't even notice it as well.
it becomes your personality.
It's crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It's insidious, huh?
Oh, yes, very
Bad
much.
work environment.
So
She's pulling out. Like, do you read the dictionary?
Sorry, I'm so annoying. I'm
like
not
it.
usually like this. I
No,
I get on camera and I get nervous and just words come out of my mouth.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism, of course.
Hey.
I don't even know what that means.
loves it.
That was like the first word I learnt in year 4, and I used to write it
Yes.
down.
That was because I learned that word in probably about the same year because we had a competition where you had to, if say letter A was worth 26 points, B 25 and so on. It was like you had to figure out what the most valuable word was. I said abracadabra. I thought that was pretty good. Shitload of A's and B's. Then this fucking Gilbert Wegner, shout out Gilbert.
Was that his actual name?
Yes. He's a gymnast. Yeah.
You have to get him to sign a contract now.
Yeah, I know. But he pulls out anti-disestablishmentarianism. I'm like, all right, you didn't think of that. Your parents did. So I'm a little bit bitter.
Your mum did.
Yeah,
Gilbert.
Fucking
Your
Gilbert.
mum.
Gilbert, we're going to have a talk.
Shout out, Gilbert. It's such a good word, though.
It is so good.
The
What does it
English-
mean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, great. So
I don't know. It's some. I think it's some type of like political movement or like social revolt situation. That's what it sounds like. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. It sounds. We should look it up.
Search it, Jimmy.
Okay.
Fact check.
But I just feel like the English language is so rich and there's so many words that it's nice to make the most of them.
Is a position that advocates that a state church should continue to receive government patronage.
Look at how long that word is, though. It
rather
covers the
than be
entire screen.
disestablished.
It literally covers the entire screen of the iPhone. But yeah, actually, we were having a conversation today yesterday about how stupid the English language actually is.
No,
And,
don't
how to
say
learn.
it. I'm such a fan of the
Hear me
English.
out on this. Hear me
Okay.
out on this.
We
So-
disagree so much today, Blake. We're just butting heads.
No, we're not butting heads. We are
in a nice way.
Yeah. We'll bring pillows next conversation. Just put on our forehead. Okay. OVE, the end of a word.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like dove, glove.
Love. Yeah.
What about grove?
Interesting. I think that's
How do you
the
learn
beauty. No, it's cool because
It's
it's
so hard to
nuanced. You don't want hard and fast rules. You want fun little surprises that make it a value or a commodity to know the English language.
Could
Like
you
it's-
imagine someone came up to you like, "Hi, have you seen the Grove?" Big, excuse me. Like, and you can't
Yeah.
figure that out. Like, you have to say, "How do you?"
I would understand. You wouldn't understand.
I'll meet you at the Grove. I'd be like, "What?"
You wouldn't understand.
You
That.
wouldn't get that.
You
Well, I
wouldn't
mean,
get
you obviously know from what is it? What is your like clues, context clues, as Stacey says. You'd figure it out. But it's like I'd hate like learning English. They
Yeah,
say
it
it's the
would be
hardest
hard.
language.
Yeah.
It'd be super difficult.
Oh, it sucks. And then I before E, except after C, like all these things.
What a ball.
But yeah, look, English, and there's no genders in words. You're Italian.
Yes.
The gender thing always like baffled me when I first figured out. I'm like, hold on.
I know, but it's
so
almost...
the ink is like male, but the pen is actually female. Like that. I'm very.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
No, like la penna. Yeah,
Oh.
feminine.
But
But
I want a pen now. It just sounds so sexy to hold a pen.
penna. No, I think it's like easier not having genders. It's very frustrating to
Really?
memorize. Yeah,
It's
because
a
you have
constant,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember
Yeah.
if the object is male or female constantly. It's
agree.
almost annoying.
Facts.
I agree
How many?
that.
There's like 7 forms of the in Italy. Italian in Italy.
In Italy? No,
Italian?
4, I believe, or 5. Like, yeah, there's like masculine singular, feminine singular, feminine plural, masculine plural, and then there's an irregular one.
Gender
Like
neutral.
Ye. No, it's just for like certain. If it's like a Z, it'll be lo instead of il for the. It's just a weird letter thing. Like some consonants, you have to.
There's a lot
it's
of
just-
rules, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of rules.
I'll deal with Gruv.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
You don't know what you got till there's something worse.
Yeah, it's facts. All right. It's all about contrast.
Perspective, you know.
Yeah. Actually, let's go back to like where I first met you was obviously with MOZA and Empty Streets. That was that like that would have been like your first big outing, was it?
I'd released a song that I don't speak of prior to that.
Song X, we'll call it.
Song X, we'll call her. He who shall not be named.
I can't
No,
say
were you going to say it?
NFFA.
Do you know? Oh, Jamie.
No fake friends allowed.
I was going to say, what does that stand for?
I mean, I have to be proud of it because it was the first song that
a
I put
learning
out in the
process.
world.
Actually,
Yeah.
I love it. I think
Thanks,
it's
G.
a Mad track.
I'll
Thanks.
Spotify it later.
Yeah, you should. You should.
I will.
Maybe
Don't you
I will
threaten me.
too. Take a trip down memory lane.
It's funny if you went back and you're like, you know what? It's actually
This
pretty
slaps.
good. Yeah. I might redo it.
Remix it. That's kind of a vibe. Anyway, so Empty Streets was the second song.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably about that time.
And because you guys recorded that in Cam's basement?
Yeah, in Cam's studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he studio
His
basement?
basement.
Basement studio?
Oh, Bear Branch.
Maybe. I don't know.
That was the name of that was what they called their studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
It
like
wasn't a basement.
I was adding
It was
things.
cool. It was like he still has it. It's a cool
I
studio.
don't mean basement like it was a derogative
No,
word.
no, I know.
Nuances of language again. But yeah. No, that's cool. And what was that like? I mean, because that got what? Couple of million? Streams?
20
like
million.
20 mil, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was sick, but then when every song that I released after didn't get 20 million, I was confused.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Became
funny
your
to-
norm and like your, I guess,
you
level.
you get what's the entitled. So it was super strange when I put out. What did I put out? I think Holiday was the next song I put out. And it did well, but I was just expecting 20 million in the first week. And it didn't
Yeah.
happen. And I was like, what? Isn't this normal for upcoming artists? And it's not, apparently.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that the
You got
hard way.
high on a drug very quickly and then
Yeah.
they come down. But that's very normal. I mean, it happens with everything. Like, and it's it's like I guess you probably felt like a huge amount of dopamine hit when you were hitting those numbers.
It was exciting because it was like, what the hell's happening as well? It was very
Is this
viral.
what fame feels
and-
like?
yeah. It was just,
Because it sort of did happen out of the blue, hey.
yeah, it was just went viral. It went
Because
crazy.
even the acoustic version has like a few millions as well.
Yeah.
And like I heard like one of the location that you guys got like heaps of streams was like Manhattan, of all places. I think I
Yeah.
remember Toby saying that. I got a
It's
memory,
true.
man.
It's New
You know, this
York,
was only like a couple of
which
years
is my
ago.
dream because New York is one of my favorite places. So it was cool to me that they cared.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, it's funny as well because it's EDM and I've just strayed so far from that genre now. But I still love it. I like that song to this day.
Oh, it slaps. Like you can't.
I'll still play it in my set sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people come to my set just to hear that song. They're
Really?
like, yeah, sometimes if I don't play Empty Streets, they're so confused. Like,
Well,
why-
and like you have to, like, you know, it's sort of like, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, if John Farnham sings, we're talking about him before, if he didn't sing the voice at his show, people be like, "What the fuck? Like, why'd I come?"
Totally. And sometimes bands are. I saw what's that band that did for there was this big song that they had. I can't remember, but I went to see them. They didn't play it. And I spoke to one of the guys afterwards, and he got super defensive about they just
playing it.
yeah. He was
It's because they get sick of it, but they forget.
yeah, and
that-
then everyone wants them, and they feel like everyone's telling them to do it, and they don't want to do it because they're sick of it. But I'm a whore for the fans. Anything the fans want, I'll do it for them.
But you have like they pay your bills.
Yeah, and they're
You
like,
know?
and I want to give them what they want because they're angels and I love them.
Yeah, shout out Angels.
Shout out angels.
But that's an interesting topic. Bring that up though, because it is. I mean, I could imagine playing like any song, even if it's your own. Like you play it over and over again. You get sick of it. I think
Oh my God.
even Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. On YouTube, there's this thing, and it's all these clips together because he hates singing whatever the biggest song was, to the point where he only sings 20% of it. He just holds the mic out, and just lets everyone else sing it because he's like, you know the fucking words, just sing it. Like because he
That's
just
so
hates
funny.
it, but he knows I have to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think actually like if the audience likes to hear it, then that beautiful energy like comes back. It just like reverberates around the room
100%.
and it just comes back into my soul and I'm just happy to play it. Like I don't think I could ever get to a point with one of my songs if I was seeing that it made the people in front of me super happy or it inspired them. I'm happy to sing it. I don't think I could ever get sick of it to the point that I wouldn't be able to stomach
well, you're giving
performing
joy
it.
to your fans.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's such a
It's a bit of a selfless
thing.
act. I think it's a little bit entitled when artists have this big song that has impacted people's lives so much and they refuse to share it with them.
Yeah.
It's like, get over yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, no, fair call.
That's
Like,
fair.
sing it.
The other one we're talking about.
I don't know if that was too hectic. But
No, it's like,
Hey,
I mean,
look.
it's
I'm just shitting on. I don't know. I think
Oh wait, are
most
you worried
artists.
about what you saying that? No, dude, like that's perfectly fine. Like, I think people get so concerned about offending someone that might watch this, but yeah, I mean, like, definitely. What? You're looking at me like I offended someone.
no, I'm just listening.
How dare you, bro?
Shit. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like everyone has their opinion, and I think if we can't talk about it,
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we won't talk about anything because
Yeah.
I can. Like, I've already offended probably a few people from some of the topics I brought up in this podcast, but you have to talk about that stuff because
Yeah. I think people are much too like not trigger happy, but they just, you know, they hear a certain word or a certain topic and they just go ape and they're not willing to hear the other person's perspective or
Yes.
like they're not open-minded or it's interesting to hear what someone else has to like interesting to hear, for example, what you thought about WAP. And it couldn't be more different to my opinion and I can't say that you've persuaded me otherwise, but it's interesting and I
Yeah.
hear your point of view is valid. So
Well, I think if you're talking with the goal of persuading someone, you shouldn't have the conversation
I
at all
agree, yeah.
because that means you're just shut off. It's like we're trying. The problem with debating, for example, there's no common goal there. The goal of debating is to make
to voice
my
your
point
idea onto someone
you.
else. Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening, particularly with social media now, where the algorithms, for example, are designed to keep you on. And now we've just been put in this echo chamber of if someone doesn't agree with me, I won't see it. And now that when we do get in conversations like this, and I think that's why podcasts coming around now is
Yeah.
such a good thing because people are hopefully going to start seeing, like with Joe Rogan, with our conversations, like you can have a differing opinion and also talk about it without being offended, you know, like, because again, I think, especially with words, it's so much about what's behind it versus what it is, if that makes sense. Like, you know,
Elaborate.
well,
That's an interesting statement.
in terms of like, if I'm saying something, well, with WAP,
Yeah.
you know, like I go, it's a shit song. It's not a shit song, but you know, it's not my thing because I don't like it saying XYZ. People then go, you're against XYZ of women. I'm like, whoa, that's a fucking leap.
Right.
But because we went into
it's
it,
more nuanced than that.
yeah, and people don't like to, like, everything's headlines.
Sensationalized.
Yeah, because we
know.
want you to click it, you know? So
It's
like,
just very fast, which doesn't allow for like complex views on something. Everyone just
Yeah.
has a really, really like
we want
limited
information
view.
quick.
We want it
information
quick. There's no time to dissect or analyze anything anymore.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, because I've seen that with so many stuff that I've actually removed myself from Facebook because I'll start discussing with people with different views, and obviously with text it's hard.
So what you mean is like hopping in the comments and fighting people?
No, I don't. I used to, but it was just it was more like things like I said. Obviously, this year's been so turbulent with hot topics, hot buttons, and everything. And someone will show like a clip of something, and then compare it to another clip, and there's like 7 different variables, but they're honing in on one. For example, racism. But it's like, actually there's 8, like there's other things in this, and I'm not discounting that it could be that one, but let's discuss the whole thing. And people then jump on you going, you're saying that this is okay to, do this, this, and this. And it's like, I'd never said that. Because there's no opening for like, all right, let's explore the whole thing and see the root of this discussion versus let's just push our opinion on that person and you push it on me, and then we'll just yell at each other. So that makes sense.
Interesting.
And I think discussion's super important. Otherwise you never learn.
I concur.
Oh, good. We're agreed. High five.
High five. Corona, not too high fivey.
I get tested fortnightly. We're all good.
But you can get it within the fortnight. Like, you know that, right?
Short circuit.
Whole life is just shattered. Just like,
oh wow, you can.
oh yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Anyway, on differing opinions, with when we chatted, well, we haven't chatted, but we chatted and you chatted to each other.
Yes.
You recently did a version.
It was
a
a chain chat.
Yeah, you did a version a song recently on I'm blacking out on the song.
Some sicko moves.
Sicko mode. That's it. Sorry. Run us through that, because I mean, obviously you posted that. That went on the Triple J posted that. It went on the internet. There were differing views.
It's a polite way to say it.
Yeah. Well,
there were haters. You can say it.
Okay. There were some very mean people in the comments who probably aren't artists themselves, commenting on what you had experimented with.
Yes.
And obviously there was pros as well. Because obviously artists are very fucking scared about getting any sort of hate because we want to please everyone. And what was it like for you putting something out and having a very vocal negative side to an interpretation of a song that you did?
It pleased me very much, actually, because it was the goal to polarize. I think everything that I put out, I want almost to polarize people with. What I don't like is a neutral reaction. If a whole bunch of people were like, it's okay, that would have like killed me inside, because it was like quite a bold interpretation. So I expect people to hate it. And I don't really, music is subjective and not everyone's going to like what you do. And if people like had a strong opinion about something I did, then I think like, okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I think because I was super proud of it, and I knew that it's what I wanted to achieve, and because I'm quite confident in my music, and it's not really a sore spot or an insecurity for me, it didn't hit me hard. I didn't really care.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What made you choose, like, not the song, but like the style that you went with? What was the process behind that? Was there a process? Was there like was that thought specifically, or did it just happen organically? What happened?
Good question. It was actually the fact that I wanted to do something quite chameleon-ish, or something quite like diverse within the one entity. That is actually what made me choose the song Sicko Mode, because it had so many different ways you could go with it, and it has been called the Bohemian Rhapsody of the rap or hip hop game.
Sure.
And so like whether you like that call or not, it has been made. So
what's your opinion?
I think it's a genius song, and I think it did things, and I think it's iconic, and so I'm with it.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can't really
even that too. Something with a title like that, you're destined, if you cover it, to piss a few people off.
Totally, yeah. And the type of people I pissed off are the people that I don't care about anyway. Like they're not my fans. They don't fuck with my music. I don't care.
People who don't even listen in the first place. So.
Yeah, and they love and to be honest, I was prepared, and I've seen a lot of Triple J like a version performances get slammed down, and to me it's just like some people, like, it's just kind of an indication of the platform. Like, people tend to just hop on their high horses and hate sometimes. And sometimes it's valid. Like, I don't care if someone hates what I've done. Actually, I like it. It's just when they make weird comments, like when it's not about the music, then I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So when you were reading, like, did you read the comments or did you just sort of go?
I actually did it. And this is not something that I recommend or would do on a consistent basis, but in this particular case, I found it empowering because it was to do with the music.
And was there any like comments that were negative, but you sort of took on like, oh, okay, like that is kind of maybe good advice, or was it just more just throwaway?
I don't want to sound like, I don't know, this could potentially, I mean, I just wouldn't take advice from, I guess maybe sometimes I would from like comments if I found something useful, but I feel like I covered all bases with, like, I was super happy with how I did the song, so there was nothing that stood out to me. Like, there could have been, but there wasn't. There was nothing that I actually saw that I was like, oh, that's a good point, because usually they were just hating for no reason. Yeah, or it was just a taste thing.
And people are drawn to, like, you know, no one would walk up to you and be like, oi, that was shit, Kota.
You'd be surprised, man.
Really? Usually the haters are like cowards behind the
Totally,
keyboard.
yeah, like 99%. I'm just thinking of this one time at a show when I was supporting this artist called Duckworth. He's amazing. And
So good.
yeah, he's so sick.
Shout out Duckworth.
Yeah. And I went on stage and I was maybe my second song in, and this dude who I thought was either a sound guy or a security guard came up to the front of the stage and called me over and started, like, he was like, you're embarrassing yourself. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Get off the stage.
What?
This is so shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, in my ear as I was like at the end of my second song. And I was super nervous that night because I'm a fan of Duckworth and it was Oath and like it was early on in my performing career.
Is this guy drunk?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he actually messaged me the next day and he was like, my girlfriend told me that I said some really bad shit to you.
So he doesn't even remember?
Yeah, I mean, he tried to play it off like he didn't remember. I don't know if he remembered or not, but
So he, at
trash.
the end of the day,
So-
still a coward.
Yeah, he's
Didn't
still a
know
pussy.
nothing.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have done it sober.
That's what I mean. Like, see, like people still, there's always something you can hide behind, and he found an excuse so he could say it to you, and then go, "Oh, I don't remember." That
Right,
wasn't-
totally.
my
Yeah,
bad.
like no responsibility really at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have just been like, "Yo, I said some bad things. He said, my girlfriend." Like,
Yeah, even he probably even doesn't even have a girlfriend. He just like,
yeah,
oh shit.
I doubt it. If
I
you're
need to
that much
save
of a
my
dick,
face. Yeah.
you don't have a girl. You wish, son. You have an imaginary girlfriend. Sorry, I get heated on. You know.
Oh, it's fair enough. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, a lot of those people are spineless. You know what I mean? Like the same
Yeah.
thing. Like
little
social
bitch.
media is just it's opened up people to be assholes without the risk of being punched in the face.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, people say a whole bunch of outlandish shit that they just ultimately get away with.
Yeah.
No one's going to hold them accountable. You're going to come to someone's anonymous house.
Imagine if Facebook introduced instead of the poke button, the punch button, and it's just like this little like automated thing in your laptop. Just go
That would be amazing.
That'd be so good.
So many laws.
Like a backhand button.
Yeah. Poke. Kota Banks punched you. Bang! Fuck! Ah! Actually physical. All of a
was
sudden,
so
people are
good.
not doing hate as much. The internet's a much more positive place.
That's an idea.
Yeah. Shout out Facebook.
Zook,
We need the
we have a proposal for you.
yeah, the punch button.
The punch button.
And then you have to work with Apple to develop the actual like
the thing that comes out.
yeah.
The fist.
The fist.
The fist.
Or just like a giant like finger comes up.
It's like- I swear we'll be able to make that happen soon. Technology's heading that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, like we're laughing, but
To be fair, 20 years ago, if we told you about iPhones and everything, I'd be like, there's no way we're going to just sign over everything and let everything get recorded from us.
dude.
I would never have said that. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Do you guys put your phone off when you're having a bitch
About what?
about anything?
Oh, no. I don't really ever say something that I'm not going to like
So it's like
back
a
up.
girl thing, maybe. I feel like me and my homies all do it.
How often do you put your phone away?
Like turn it off completely.
Like airplane mode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you worried about
I'd
something
be-
ever coming out?
Well, I'd be talking shit sometimes.
Okay.
You know, like not bad, but I just don't want the world knowing.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can never be too careful.
Like, yeah. That's fair. I get that.
It's like those people that get the
I feel like so many
sticky
people listening
notes.
now are going, has she ever bitched about me?
No, not like it's not even people. I'm not talking shit about like even people, but just like my
Just
like
stuff.
secrets or like things that I don't,
Okay, yeah.
I'm just paranoid.
See, I've started doing it now where, like, if you're getting the hanky-panky going, I do move my phone away in a different room.
It's like the same thing then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, like, not to that extreme. I'm just like, shit, I don't want someone ever seeing this. It's a
Totally.
horrible angle.
It's a bad angle. It's like the sticky notes that people put on the
Yeah.
yeah. Like mine would just be me with a double chin eating Doritos watching Netflix the whole time. It's not like
That's
super
the thing.
interesting, but
like, no one watches their phone in selfie mode. Like, oh, I better watch a movie.
yeah. Right?
Yeah, so like if that stuff ever gets
Just a
leaked,
whole-
it's
whole
just gonna
bunch
be
of
constant double chins.
Oh, everyone's fucked. I feel relieved. We're all in the same boat at
Yeah.
least.
It is gonna get to that point though where it's just
I mean,
quite
my chin's
literally
covered, but
facts.
Maybe I should grow a beard.
Someone's gonna be
Man.
like, "Why is this guy filming his pubes?"
fans up to the rest of my face.
He has no torso.
What has happened? Where did this face come from?
I love Chunky's beard.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, he got a beard bead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did some tings the other day, me and Chunky.
Coda braided it.
Yeah.
put the
Oh,
beard.
so you braided for it.
I braided it, but it was crooked.
That's a friendship.
No, I screwed it up. I'm sorry, Jamie.
It's okay. It was low light, It was.
Yeah.
It does add an extra.
I think there was limoncello shots, so
Yeah, there were.
can't.
You know me after one
Like
sip.
braid your beard to your eyebrow
Yeah,
or
pretty
something.
much.
That's how it was.
I think it's going a bit this way.
It was like a little bit wonky, a little bit how you going, but next time I'll be better.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Turn the lights on full.
I'm a fast learner, I promise.
No, I mean the braid itself.
I feel like I have to sell myself to you to get the chance to do this again.
Oh
I
no,
feel
I'm
like-
so keen.
Okay,
I'm
dope.
yeah,
Cool.
like there's no selling necessary.
Great.
It's like I'm so ready.
You're there.
The bead has to be in.
It's calling my name, boo. I see it.
I find it interesting that like
I get the urge to
there's a-
just take it in my hands and just start braiding.
Have you ever like looked into like full beard care? Like it's an industry. Like
It's a whole thing, man.
yeah. Like
What is it?
I do not do nothing.
like it's up there with like how there's so many female products for hair
Yeah.
versus men.
Yeah.
Like the men version is beards. Like you get beard moisturizer, beard oil,
wax.
Like you got a comb.
I got a beard comb. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a beard comb.
Wooden combs, best.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like men
Cool.
take more pride in their beard than their hair.
Well, I think it depends on what you have.
You got to work with what you got.
Yeah.
But-
like, I don't take pride in my hair because
Yeah. But you have people come up to you and talk to you about your beard.
well, I think it's just because it's there, right in their,
Yeah.
their
Right
face.
in
That happened with my
face.
friend Gil. yeah. That happened with my friend Gil. Like same thing. Gilbert. Different Gil.
Oh, different.
Gil. I had a-
Wegner? No, different.
No.
Was
this
that
is
his
Gilbert
name? Gilbert
Town.
Wegner?
Yeah, shout out Gilbert Town.
No,
he's-
Gilberts.
I know. Actually, I know a lot of Gilberts.
I don't know one Gilbert.
I know a couple. Anyway,
Cool.
yeah, this Gilbert.
Good chat.
Yeah, he'd have people walk up to him all the time, going, "Dude, love you." Like he'd get stuck in a half an hour conversation about beards.
I was driving.
Like,
out
it's a
of,
thing.
It's
I was
a
driving
thing,
out of my
wow.
street the other day, and I was driving up my street, and there was a tradie getting something out of his car. So he was obviously looking at me to see how far I was, so that he could move. So I just didn't hit him. And as I was driving past, he was like, "Nice beard."
It's a
Did that
thing.
make you feel some type of way? Were you like, thank you?
Like I was
Is he
like,
flirting with
"Thank
me?
you so much," but I was also just like,
What just happened?
"Yeah, what?"
Should I get his number?
I almost.
Did you give him a little wink?
No,
Thanks,
I put my
babe.
hand out the window and just gave him a thumbs up. I was like, "Thanks, mate."
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to
'Cause it's-
appreciate the beard.
It's
Like,
just right there.
it's
Well,
right
currently,
there.
because he's groomed it, I said it looks like an upside down flame.
Totally.
Got the,
Yeah, it's got like the
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I just I groomed it to the braid so that when it's
so-
braided,
strategic.
there's nothing too much on the sides going.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
otherwise it was.
I'm just
disturbing.
envious because yours is like thick. Mine ends up like I can't grow hair here. Sorry,
doesn't
sounded
grow
like
there.
I was just
There are things
came
for
back from
that.
the war.
But there are things for that though nowadays.
Sounds like
There's
what
like a
are we
little-
talking about, Viagra?
surely there's a
things-
pill
there's
for
a
that.
pill for that.
There probably is a pill for that though.
They're probably.
Yeah.
I can find
I'm
one
worried
for
about
you
like
if you
popping
want.
it and all of a sudden my back just like starts growing hair. Like Like
that's-
shit, wrong
It's a
area.
risk you got to take.
Yeah.
It's the least of your worries, man. Back hair's fine.
That guy's great.
Not a fan.
I look like a werewolf.
Are you a back hair kind of girl?
I'm neutral.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's cool. It's not cool. It's like good for you. You know.
What a
I'm a
politician
positive.
answer.
Yeah. I'm
love all
so.
backs.
I'm the diplomat. Always the diplomat. It's the Libra in me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, Jamie?
No, nothing at all.
You
Just,
just don't, you
You
don't know what
just-
that means.
mm.
I don't know enough
No.
about it. But yeah, no.
That's how you get away with it. You're just like, you're like,
It's like,
I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know what? Eyebrows. And
It'd be working. I'm like, how he gets it. He has no idea.
He knows. He knows. Yeah, man. I wanted to quickly talk about one other thing with you because what we like to do, obviously, on this podcast is
move hands like that.
talk,
He's wog.
talk with
practicing
our
Let him
Italian.
do his thing.
talk with our hands and stroke beards and do stuff. But what we like to do is give people a little bit of, like some information. And obviously you've dropped a whole bunch of knowledge bombs today, which thank you very much. But what I really wanted to get into with you, because like with the Sweet and the Spice, the rollout for the EP was quite quick for what I would normally tell clients that I work with
Yeah.
for releasing. So I wanted to talk a bit about how you sort of went about with that sort of structure, and also do you tailor your release plan to each project or each thing that you release, or like what's your like base strategy and things like that?
Yeah, it's such a different process for every artist. It's like a very unique. I feel like the word strategy almost annoys me sometimes because I'm such a purist with the art. Like I know that there is a strategy because obviously it's like a business and you have to commodify the art.
100%.
And like that's why I'm doing this and not as a hobby. So I get that, but I just like hate to think about that. So it kind of comes last, and I feel like if you work from the gut and you do things the way that you feel like they're meant to be, then it's just going to work the best in like the outside world naturally. So and it also depends, for different bodies of work of mine, I've released different ways and at different like timing intervals. But for this particular body of work, because COVID happened, it was kind of a reaction to the time. So it was very spontaneous and like very reactive, and I didn't want to overthink it. I just wanted to put it out. I make so much music as well. I'm always writing, and so for me, like I'm just always creating. So I like to release it in real time as well. I don't want fans to have to wait a year to hear what happened to me a year ago because it's no longer relevant, and I don't have the same desire to promote it in a way that I would if it's fresh and then just has rolled off my tongue like the month before. So I like to keep things super quick. And yeah, like I have another project out, like another whole project out in a month, or like less, the beginnings of that project we're going to start to roll out. So it's just, I have to work that fast because I want to release all this music. It would just break my heart if it was all sitting in my iTunes freaking library forever and it never got released.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
yeah, and I feel also like people's attention spans suck, like I said earlier. So to keep people entertained, and especially when you're not competing, but when there's so many other artists doing their thing and there's so much music coming out, you have to like almost flood the market. Like you have to be giving people content, like you have to give. And but then that's just what works for me. I've seen artists who are super measured and release a song every 3 months and it leads up to a project, and like they do everything's very set and calculated, and that's sick and it works for them, and that's the way they like to do things. But I'm much more spontaneous, and I just like love music and want it out, and I just do what I feel, and I'm just like passionate and a bit all over the place. So that's how it manifests for me. But
Yeah.
No,
With
cool.
because I mean, obviously, we also want to give people listening a bit more of like the behind the scenes as well. And you're signed, which is fucking awesome. And like a lot of artists aspire to be signed. Obviously, there's a lot of freak out stories you hear about, like, labels stopping people from releasing whatever. They have like their own strategy that you must adhere to. It sounds like you're doing your strategy that you like, and it's like just pumping stuff out. How have they been with that, which is like the non sort of way that we usually hear, which is like, song every 6 weeks or whatever it is? Like, it seems like you've just gone flat and this is what I want to do.
yeah.
How are they with like that, and what was the collaborative process between them and yourself?
Yeah, I feel like labels have evolved and they understand the idea that you have to listen to an artist in order to get the best result. I feel like, obviously they're a business and their interest is, like they're financially motivated, but at the same time, like if you pitch it to them in a way that is enticing and like, you explain to them how it would work. I mean, obviously I say that I don't care about strategy, but I'm not just out here like flicking my songs out without 100%. Care. Like I'm thought out. I just do it in a way that works for me. I make, passion is at the forefront and then strategy like obviously works its way in, but I make the strategy work for me, not vice versa. Yeah. It's not like these rigid rules and I plan everything around it. Yeah. It's like macro, not, so with the label, I've just been lucky that they like trusted me and I made things kind of like me and my manager are pretty onto everything and she's amazing and super organized. So we just kind of made things work and we made it easy for them too. And I just expressed that it's something that I really wanted to do and they're lovely and they would just like go for it. And I think you just have to sign with people that wouldn't stop you. You have to get to know them and you have to be on terms before you sign so that you don't get fucked over.
So there's a responsibility for you or the artist to also communicate back to them.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you can't go do whatever. When you're signed to a label, obviously they fund a lot of stuff. So you have to not answer to them, but it's actually not even in a business sense, but I personally like to take into consideration how it's going to affect them as well because they're investing belief and time and money into me. So it's out of respect as well.
Yeah.
To communicate with them and have a nice relationship with them anyway.
Yeah.
But I was super lucky in that they just were down. And I think like the times were unprecedented. So there was nothing for them to go off either. It's not like they've ever experienced releasing music in a pandemic either. Yeah. So 100%. Like and I think that was also the selling point was like, this is an unprecedented these are uncharted territories. So
and they're happy to experiment.
Yeah, like let's experiment, let's navigate. And I was able to make it work, like in a package deal for them that they were happy with, and then that's how it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
That's cool. That's good. That's because I think it's like communication is such an important thing. I mean, we'll talk about this in this podcast. And that's cool that you've got that experience with that the label because I think we only hear the horror stories, and then if we see the success stories, we still see the success stories with the horror stories behind. So it's nice that I think people need to hear more of that, and also appreciate like you do. You appreciate there is a business side of it because unfortunately, without the backing from the label, you can't do music like as much as like how does as much.
You can't kid yourself. That's the thing. Like obviously, there are like not complications, but there are things when you deal with people and you're working as a part of a team. Obviously, there are going to be disagreements and hiccups and like a little bit of turbulence, but you have to expect that and you have to know how to navigate it and compromise without compromising it as an artist. Yeah. That's something that I'm not really willing to do at this point is compromise the art. And they're happy with that. So it works.
It's good. Setting the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect.
Ooh, thanks.
Cool. Huh?
I love it.
Sweet.
That's dope.
That was dope. I think, we've nailed it, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
I enjoyed
it.
Fun.
Yes. We'll continue discussing things.
Yes. No, I love a heated discussion. It was great.
Hey guys, while he's trying to write a really cool and creative outro for this, I'm just going to say, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. And subscribe because I would love it if you did. Yeah. Was that your belly?